Welcome back to Fact Bloom Insights. Throughout history, hurricane storm surges have stood as some of the most lethal and destructive forces nature can unleash. Their power lies not just in the wind or rain that hurricanes bring, but in the immense volume of ocean water pushed inland by the storm. Driven by hurricane winds and the dramatic drop in atmospheric pressure, storm surges can transform serene coastlines into scenes of devastation within hours, sweeping away homes, vehicles, and entire communities. To truly grasp the gravity of these events, we must examine the deadliest storm surges ever recorded, understanding both the numbers and the stories behind them. The most catastrophic storm surge in recorded history occurred in the Bay of Bengal during the 1970 Bhola cyclone. Striking on November 12th of that year, the Bhola cyclone remains the single deadliest tropical cyclone known to humanity. As the storm approached, its winds and pressure pushed a massive wall of water onto the low-lying Ganges Delta. The surge reached heights of up to 10 meters, over 30 feet, devastating villages and farmland. In a matter of hours, entire communities were swept away. The death toll from the Bhola cyclone is staggering. At least 300,000 people lost their lives, with some estimates reaching as high as 500,000. The immense loss of life was due to the region's geography, dense population, and lack of adequate warning systems. For the survivors, the aftermath was equally harrowing, with widespread famine and displacement compounding the tragedy. Turning to the United States, the deadliest storm surge struck Galveston, Texas, in September 1900. The Galveston hurricane, now regarded as the worst natural disaster in U.S. history, brought a storm surge estimated between 15 and 20 feet. Galveston, a thriving port city, was largely unprepared for such a disaster. As the surge overwhelmed the island, structures collapsed, and entire neighborhoods were swept away. The loss of life was immense. Between 6,000 and 12,000 people perished. In the aftermath, Galveston was left in ruins, and the event forever altered coastal engineering and disaster preparedness in the United States. In more recent times, the destructive potential of storm surges has only grown. Hurricane Katrina in 2005 stands as a sobering example. Katrina's impact was particularly severe along the Mississippi coast, where the storm surge exceeded 27 feet in some areas. This towering wall of water obliterated entire towns, including Waveland and Bay St. Louis, reducing neighborhoods to splinters. Over 1,200 people died as a direct result of Katrina, with many fatalities attributed to the rapid rise of water and the inability to evacuate in time. The financial toll was equally shocking. Damages exceeded $125 billion, making Katrina one of the costliest hurricanes in U.S. history. The catastrophe exposed critical gaps in disaster response and underscored the importance of timely evacuation orders. More recently, Hurricane Ian in 2022 demonstrated that the threat of deadly storm surges remains ever present. Ian made landfall in Florida as a powerful Category 4 hurricane, bringing a destructive surge that inundated coastal communities. The surge reached heights of up to 18 feet in some areas, swamping homes and infrastructure. Ian's fury resulted in the highest economic loss of any hurricane in Florida's history, with damages estimated at around $112 billion. While improved warning systems and preparations limited the loss of life compared to past disasters, Ian's surge was a stark reminder of the vulnerability of modern coastal cities. What makes storm surges so devastating is a combination of factors: geography, population density, and the state of infrastructure and preparedness. The continental shelf plays a crucial role. When a hurricane approaches a coastline with a shallow continental shelf, the surge can be much higher, as the water has nowhere to disperse. This is why regions like the Bay of Bengal and the Gulf Coast of the United States are particularly susceptible. Storm surges are not merely a coastal phenomenon. Their reach can extend miles inland. The force of water can destroy buildings, erode roads, and sever critical infrastructure. Vehicles are swept away with ease, and floodwaters can rise rapidly, trapping residents before they have a chance to escape. In many cases, the weight and speed of the water become fatal. Drowning is the most common cause of death during a storm surge, but injuries from debris and collapsing structures also contribute to the toll. Climate change is intensifying these threats. Warmer ocean temperatures fuel stronger hurricanes, while rising sea levels increase the baseline from which surges begin. This means that future hurricanes may produce even higher surges, affecting larger areas and more people. Recent data shows that both the frequency and intensity of major hurricane storm surges are on the rise. Coastal populations continue to grow, further increasing the number of people at risk. Preparedness is vital. Over the years, improved forecasting and communication have saved countless lives. Timely evacuation orders are the most effective defense against storm surge fatalities. Delaying evacuation can have fatal consequences, as the rapid rise of water leaves little time for escape. Modern technology, such as real-time modeling and satellite tracking, helps authorities pinpoint surge locations and issue warnings more accurately. However, the challenge remains to ensure that communities heed these warnings and have the resources to evacuate safely. The lessons from the deadliest storm surges in history are clear. The Bhola cyclone taught the world about the devastating consequences of inadequate warning systems and the vulnerability of low-lying, densely populated regions. The Galveston hurricane demonstrated the need for robust infrastructure and disaster planning. Katrina and Ian highlighted the ever-present threat to even developed nations and the critical role of preparedness and timely action. As we look to the future, the risks posed by hurricane storm surges will only grow. Cities and towns along coastlines must invest in resilient infrastructure, comprehensive evacuation plans, and public education. Individuals living in hurricane-prone areas must remain vigilant, understanding the dangers and responding quickly to official warnings. The stories and statistics of past disasters are not just numbers. They are reminders of the immense power of nature and the importance of respecting it. From the Bay of Bengal to the Gulf Coast, the deadly legacy of hurricane storm surges endures. By learning from history and adapting to new challenges, we can hope to reduce their impact and protect lives in the storms yet to come. The next time a hurricane threatens, remember the lessons of Bhola, Galveston, Katrina, and Ian, and act swiftly. It may be the difference between survival and tragedy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to follow the next videos.